I do think that saying I'm going to make a commitment to do something for a year, I have a vision, I'm going to work to make it happen. It can be a beautiful ceremony to take the new year and use that to let go, forgive, start fresh, and start new. But you got to be careful when making New Year's resolutions. Something on the order of 90 to 95% of New Year's resolutions fail within the first 3 weeks. One of the big reasons for that is that people don't understand the stages of change. I believe I have a course on this in the free group. It might only be in the paid group, but stages of change are a construct developed by this guy, James Prochaska. What he did, I had a few other people, but he's the name I always remember. So what they did was they looked at people who were quitting smoking. And they asked, okay, what were the things you did to quit smoking? How successful were you? How many times did you have to try before you quit? And as they looked at it, they found something very interesting, which is that all the people who had quit the very first time went through something called the stages of change. The stages of change start with pre-contemplation. I don't even know if there's a thing to change. And in this stage, it's really good to get about it. For other people to have conversations with me, to have conversations about this, to realize, oh, there is something I want to change here. From there, people move into the contemplation stage. This is when they're trying to figure out, but do I want to change this? And what would that look like? And how would I be different? And do I want to be different in that way? And so there's a lot of evaluation. What would be good about this change? What would be bad about this change? How hard would it be? What are the consequences if I keep up going the way I am? What are the consequences if I were to make this change? There's a coming to understanding of the change you want to make. From contemplation, then you move into a short phase called preparation. You say, I'm going to make this change, but I got to get some things in order first. I got to get some accountability buddies to talk to me. I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to set out some habits. I'm going to go to coaching and talk to Trinley about how to work through this. I'm going to put everything in place so that I'm ready for the next stage, which is action. So in action, now I'm making habits. I'm changing my environment. I'm working with desire partners or accountability buddies. I'm actively doing internal change work. These sorts of things in the action stage. And then you move into maintenance. I'm checking in, right? Maybe I lost weight, but I'm still going to be weighing myself every day so that if the weight starts creeping up, I know that and I can take action. Maybe this is where I might start teaching others or helping others with what I've learned to really cement it in myself. And so what we find when people make New Year's resolutions is they say, nope, it's the new year. It is time for action. And so what happens, what James Prochaska found, is that when people just say, no, I'm going to take action without going step by step through the stages of change, it takes you more than one time. You're not going to quit smoking the first time if you jump straight to action without having gone through the other stages. And so this is why I often treat New Year's resolutions more as a theme or a vision rather than an action, because the start of the year might be, I'm just thinking about this. I'm figuring it out. I'm going to spend an hour just journaling about my finances or my romantic relationship or what it is and really figure it out. I'm going to create a pros and cons list. I'm going to imagine what it would be like to have this year go the way I want to. And I'm not going to move on from contemplation until there's a sense of commitment, until there's a sense of readiness, until there's a sense of internal alignment towards this direction. And so all I'm aligning to do is thinking about it, is getting ready for it. And then I'm not just going to start right away. I'm going to spend 2 weeks, 2 to 6 weeks preparing. I'm going to really get things in place. I'm going to be ready so that the person who just started going to the gym without a plan, without a workout partner, they already started. They're looking at me like, look at this loser. But then 3 weeks later, I've come up with a plan. I know what I'm going to do when it's late at work and I'm tired and I don't want to go to the gym. I know what I'm going to do on the holidays when there's lots of delicious food. I've planned, I've thought it all through, I'm committed to it, and then I start taking action. And it's going to go well until about the 6 months mark. Then it's going to start to get crunchy. Then it's going to start to get hard. So I plan for that. I prepare for that. I know that I'm in this for the full year, and I know that's going to happen. I'm ready for it. I have people to support me, whether it's this group, the paid group, somebody that I talk to who's doing a similar vision with me, one of my best friends that I know can hold me accountable. So that's my quick spiel on New Year's resolutions. Does anybody have any quick questions about that before we move into the group coaching section of this?
I have a question. So you're talking about the plan being critical for success. What does plan look like
What does a plan look like?
or feel like? I'm not sure if it's,
Yeah,
you know, step by step.
the best plans uh, do two things. One thing they do is they look at areas where you tend to fall down, areas where you tend to make mistakes, areas where you tend to fail, areas where you tend to bounce off your plan. And they pay special attention to those areas. So that's going to look different for everyone. For some people, it might be, I know that I can get really stressed at work and then plans fall out the window. For other people, it might be uh, um, that it I'm going to start getting criticized by my partner for spending too much time away from that. And I know that's going to cause me to fail. So I'm going to plan for that. So that's one thing, is that you look at the areas that you know are going to be crunchy for you and you pre-plan how you're going to do them. So that's often what's called a trigger action plan. If this happens, then that. And then the other thing that good plans do is they look at things that have really worked for you. So in the past, one big change I've made is that I started being more social. And the thing that worked for me there was just doing something little each day to be more social. So I'm going to try now, I'm going to try to be healthy. So I'm going to try and use that same strategy. I'm just going to try and do something little each day to be healthy because I know that's worked for me in the past. And so if you can have a plan that, and again, that could be if then trigger action plans, or it could be other types of plans. But if you have a plan that both deals with the areas that are going to be crunchy for you in a way and you're asking how it feels. How it should feel is that when you imagine enacting this and you ask yourself, okay, if I enact this, will I enact this? And how likely is it? You're like, not surprised at all that I succeeded. Or if you imagine yourself failing, you're like, I enacted all these plans and I failed. You're like, yeah, I'm really surprised. Okay. So it should feel very surprising if you were to fail, is how the plan should feel. And then it should have both the areas that are crunchy for you and what's worked for you in the past. So that's what a good plan looks like. Does that help?
Sure. Yes.
So that's
For the trigger action plan is like a good place.